Most people think success is something you chase. They think happiness is something you find. They think confidence is something you wait for. But here's the truth that changes everything. The moment you begin speaking blessings over yourself daily, you stop waiting and you start creating. Let's slow this down for a moment, because this is where everything begins. The moment you start paying attention to your language, you begin to understand that words aren't just words. They aren't just a way to communicate with other people. They are the way you communicate with yourself. And if you don't understand that, then you're living your life like you're being controlled by a script you didn't write. You see, most people think their words are harmless. They think it's just a phrase, it's just a thought, it's just something I said in passing. But I want you to hear me clearly. Your words are not harmless. They are powerful. They are the fuel that drives your emotions, the architecture that shapes your beliefs, and the engine that determines your destiny. Every day you are speaking to yourself in a way that either builds you up or tears you down. And the crazy part is, most people do it without even realizing it. They say things like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, I'm just not lucky, I can't do that, I'm not ready, I always mess things up. And then they wonder why their life is stuck. They wonder why they feel drained. They wonder why they keep attracting the same problems over and over. But here's the truth. Your life is a reflection of the words you repeat, because repetition creates identity. The more you say something, the more your brain begins to accept it as true. And once your brain accepts it, your body follows, your actions follow, your habits follow, your results follow. This is how a thought becomes a reality. Now, I want you to think about your inner voice for a second. I want you to picture it as a leader inside your head. A leader that gives you direction, that makes decisions for you, that determines how you show up in the world. And right now, many of you have a leader that's untrained, unkind, and undisciplined. A leader that is always criticizing, always doubting, always pointing out what's wrong. And you wonder why you don't feel powerful. You wonder why you don't feel confident. You wonder why you don't feel happy. Your inner voice is your leader, and you are the one who decides whether that leader is going to be a coach or a critic. You are the one who decides whether your inner voice is going to speak blessings or speak curses. Because every word you say to yourself is a message to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind doesn't argue. It doesn't negotiate. It just obeys. So if you tell yourself, I'm not capable, your subconscious mind will make sure you act incapable. It will make sure you avoid challenges. It will make sure you play small. It will make sure you don't take risks, because it's trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you safe. But safety is not growth. Safety is not progress. Safety is not success. Safety is the grave where dreams go to die. And if you tell yourself, I'm not worthy, your subconscious mind will make sure you stay unworthy. It will keep you in relationships that don't honor you. It will keep you in jobs that don't fulfill you. It will keep you in patterns that don't serve you. Because your subconscious mind is trying to keep you consistent with what you believe. But what if you changed the language? What if you spoke blessings instead of doubt? What if you told yourself, I am able, I am worthy, I'm growing, I'm becoming? What if you spoke those words so often that your brain had no choice but to accept them as truth? That's what blessings do. Blessings are not wishful thinking. They are not positive thinking with a smile. Blessings are declarations. They are commitments. They are promises you make to yourself. And when you speak them daily, you are creating a new identity. You are building a new version of you that your mind can't ignore. And here's the most powerful part. You don't have to wait until you feel ready to start speaking blessings. In fact, if you wait until you feel ready, you will never start. Because feeling ready is not a prerequisite for growth. Feeling ready is a luxury. And the truth is, most of the people who are successful didn't feel ready. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't have all the confidence. They didn't have all the resources. They just decided to speak a different language. They decided to take a defer NT approach. They decided to become a different person. When you speak blessings daily, you're not lying to yourself. You're not pretending. You're not trying to convince yourself with fake positivity. You are training your brain to focus on what you want to create instead of what you fear. You are giving your mind a new direction. You are telling your subconscious, this is who I am, this is who I'm becoming. And when you do that, your emotions begin to follow. Your energy shifts, your decisions become clearer, your actions become stronger because your words are now aligned with your purpose. Your words are now aligned with your destiny. Your words are now aligned with the life you're meant to live. Now, I want you to imagine the power of speaking blessings over yourself every single day. Not just once in a while, not when you feel like it, but daily, morning and night, when you wake up, when you're driving, when you're walking, when you're alone, when you're surrounded by noise, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're scared. Because that's when blessings matter the most. That's when your inner voice needs to be loud. That's when your inner leader needs to step up. That's when your future needs you to be your own champion. And the more you do it, the more automatic it becomes, the more natural it becomes, the more it becomes your default language, your default programming, your default identity. And then something extraordinary happens. You start to notice that the world responds to you differently. Opportunities begin to appear. People begin to respect you more. You begin to feel more confident. You begin to move with purpose. You begin to take action without hesitation. You begin to attract what you've been speaking into existence because your words create your world. So I want you to commit to this. Start speaking blessings daily, not because it's easy, not because it's comfortable, but because it's necessary. Because your words are the foundation of your life. Because your language is the first step to changing your destiny. You can change your life with your words. You can change your future with your language. You can change your identity with your declarations. And when you speak daily blessings upon yourself, you don't just change your day, you change your destiny. Now go out there and speak your blessings and watch your life transform. Now let's talk about something most people completely overlook. And yet it is one of the most powerful forces in your life, the practice of speaking blessings daily. This isn't just about saying a few nice words to yourself in the mirror and feeling good for a moment. No, this is about creating anchors that ground you, that center you, that make you unstoppable no matter what storms life throws at you. Because life will throw storms at you. Life will throw challenges, doubts, distractions, negativity, and fear. And the people who survive and thrive are the ones who have daily anchors that hold them steady, that keep them aligned with the best version of themselves no matter what. When you speak blessings over yourself every single day, you are creating exactly that. You are setting up a structure that your mind and body can rely on. You are building a rhythm, a ritual, a habit that becomes more powerful over time. The first few times you do it, it might feel strange. You might feel awkward or even a little silly. That's normal. Every new habit feels awkward at first. But the secret is consistency. Keep doing it. Keep speaking blessings every day. And soon your mind begins to recognize that this is not just talk, it's action. This is not just words, this is training. And your subconscious mind begins to respond. It begins to anchor you in a new reality, a reality where you are strong, capable, worthy, and blessed. Think about the difference between someone who drifts through life and someone who thrives. The difference is often invisible, lay, and internal. It's not luck. It's not talent, it's not circumstances, it's what they do consistently to anchor themselves every day. And speaking blessings is one of the most powerful anchors you can create because it shifts your focus from what's missing to what's possible. It shifts your attention from scarcity to abundance. It shifts your energy from fear to faith. And when your energy shifts, your decisions shift, your actions shift, your results shift. Everything shifts. Imagine for a moment the life of someone who never speaks blessings to themselves. Every day they wake up and react. They wake up and respond to what's happening outside of them. They let the news, social media, other people's opinions, traffic, bad bosses, relationship struggles, and financial pressures dictate their mood, their mindset, and their behavior. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they feel anxious, why they feel frustrated, why they feel like they can't make progress. They are not enchored. They are drifting. And the currents of life push them wherever life wants to take them. They are reacting, not creating. They are living someone else's story, not writing their own. Now compare that to someone who speaks blessings every morning and every night. Someone who takes the time, even just for a few minutes, to declare their intentions, to honor themselves, to acknowledge their potential, to speak life into their circumstances. That person is anchored. That person is grounded. That person is not swayed by the outside world. They don't wait for approval. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for a miracle. They have already created the miracle within themselves. Their anchor is internal, unshakable, and unstoppable. And because of that, everything outside begins to align with them. Opportunities appear, energy flows, relationships improve, challenges become manageable, obstacles shrink because the foundation is strong, the anchor is solid. And here, something else that most people don't understand, daily blessings aren't just about the present moment. They are about the long-term wiring of your mind. Every time you speak a blessing, you are training your brain to recognize possibilities. You are building a mental map of abundance, of capability, of resilience. You are literally rewiring the circuits in your brain to notice opportunities instead of obstacles, solutions instead of problems, growth instead of stagnation. And over time, this creates a momentum that is unstoppable. The longer you maintain this daily practice, the more powerful the anchor becomes. The longer you keep speaking blessings, the more natural it becomes to live in a state of faith, confidence, and gratitude. You don't have to fight for it. You don't have to push for it. It becomes your default. It becomes automatic. Your inner self knows this is who I am. This is how I operate. This is my energy. This is my life. The incredible thing about anchors is teach that they are always available to you. No matter what happens, no matter how chaotic your day becomes, you can return to your anchor. You can pause, you can breathe, you can speak a blessing over yourself and immediately shift your state. You can turn fear into courage, you can turn doubt into clarity, you can turn despair into determination. And that is the power of daily blessings. They are portable, they are reliable, and they are transformative. You don't need permission from anyone else. You don't need approval. You don't need the outside world to recognize your worth. You create it internally, you anchor it daily, and then it radiates outward. And here's the real magic. When you anchor yourself in blessings, you start to notice that your outer world begins to reflect your inner state. People respond differently to you. Situations unfold differently. Opportunities show up that you wouldn't have noticed before. And this isn't coincidence. This is alignment. This is the natural result of being centered, grounded, and anchored in your own power, in your own worth, and in your own blessings. Most people underestimate the impact of a single daily practice done consistently over time. But this is how lives are transformed. This is how ordinary people become extraordinary. This is how someone goes from being reactive to being proactive, from being stuck to being unstoppable, from being a passenger in life to being the driver of their own destiny. The anchor of daily blessings is not flashy. It doesn't require external validation. It doesn't require complicated systems or expensive tools. All it requires is your voice, your intention, and your commitment to yourself. And the moment you start, everything changes. So today, I want you to imagine creating your own anchor, something so powerful that no matter what the day throws at you, no matter what challenges arise, no matter what people say or do, you have a place inside of you that cannot be shaken, a place where you are strong, capable, worthy, and blessed, a place where your mind is clear, your heart is steady, and your spirit is unbreakable. That place is created every time you speak a blessing over yourself. That place becomes stronger every time you repeat it, every time you commit to it, every time you honor yourself with it. And the best part is, this anchor is not just for you. When you are anchored, when you are centered, when you are grounded in blessings, your energy affects everyone around you. You become a source of strength, a source of clarity, a source of positivity. You lift others up without even trying. You inspire without even speaking, because anchors are contagious. Stability is contagious. Blessings are contagious. And the world needs more people who are anchored, who are centered, and who are unwavering in their power. So today, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. I want you to decide that every day you will speak blessings over yourself. Not once in a while, not when it's convenient, every single day, every morning, every night. Whenever you need to return to your center, whenever you need to ground yourself, whenever you need to remember who you are and who you are becoming, speak your blessings, anchor yourself in your power, anchor yourself in your worth, anchor yourself in your potential, anchor yourself in your destiny, and watch as your life transforms. Because when you are anchored, nothing can shake you. Let me ask you a question. Who is the most important person in your life? You might say your partner, your kids, your boss, your mentor, your friends. And those people matter, but the truth is, the most important person in your life is the one who lives inside your head, the one you talk to every day, the one you listen to every day, the one who decides how you feel, what you believe, and what you do, your inner voice. And the inner voice is not just a voice, it is a leader. It is the voice that sets your emotional tone. It is the VO, ice that decides whether you're going to push forward or retreat. It is the voice that determines whether you're going to stay stuck or break through. And if you don't control that voice, you will be controlled by it, because your inner voice is constantly talking to you. It never stops. It's always giving you commentary, always interpreting reality, always telling you what you can and cannot do. And the sad truth is, most people have an inner voice that is critical, harsh, and limiting. It's a voice that focuses on weakness, on failure, on what's wrong, on what could go wrong. And when you listen to that voice, your energy drops, your confidence drops, your motivation drops, and you begin to live in a state of fear. You begin to live in a state of limitation. You begin to live in a state where you are always defending yourself, always protecting yourself, always reacting to life instead of creating it. But here's the thing, the inner voice is not your enemy. The inner voice is simple. Why a tool? And like any tool, it can be used to build or to destroy. The question is, who is the leader? Who is in charge? You or that voice? Because if you let the voice run your life, you will never reach your potential. You will never become the person you're meant to be. You will never live the life you deserve. But if you decide to take control, if you decide to become the leader of your inner voice, then everything changes. And this is where daily blessings come in, because blessings are the language you use to train your inner voice. Blessings are the way you tell your inner voice, this is the kind of leader I want you to be. This is the kind of language I want you to speak. This is the kind of reality I want you to create. When you speak blessings, You are giving your inner voice a new script. You are giving it a new set of instructions. You are telling it to focus on your strengths, your possibilities, your potential, your worth. You are telling it to become your coach instead of your critic. And that is one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life, turning your inner voice into your leader, not your enemy. Because when your inner voice becomes your leader, you begin to operate from a different state. You begin to operate from confidence. You begin to operate from clarity. You begin to operate from courage. You begin to operate from love instead of fear. And once that happens, your life begins to shift in ways you can't even imagine. But let's be real for a moment. This is not easy. It's not easy to change the way you talk to yourself. It's not easy to replace years of negative programming with positive declarations. It's not easy to retrain your brain when it has been wired for self-doubt and limitation. It takes effort. It takes discipline. It takes repetition. It takes commitment. It takes the willingness to be uncomfortable, because the old voice is familiar. The old voice is comfortable. The old voice is what your mind knows, and your mind will resist change because change requires energy. But here's the thing, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. You don't have to completely silence the old voice in one day. You just have to start speaking a new voice louder than the old one. You have to start giving your inner voice a new script, and you have to repeat it daily until it becomes automatic. That's the power of daily blessings. It's not about being positive for a moment. It's about training your inner voice to become a champion for you, not a critic against you. And once your inner voice becomes your leader, you will notice something incredible. You start making different choices. You start taking different actions. You start attracting different people. You start stepping into different opportunities, because your inner voice sets your internal standard. It sets your expectations. It sets your belief in what you deserve. And when your inner voice believes you are worthy, capable, and blessed, your life begins to reflect that belief. You start showing up differently. You start speaking differently. You start carrying yourself differently. You start operating at a higher level. And people respond to that. The world responds to that. Your environment responds to that. Because your inner voice is not just a voice in your head. It's a force that shapes your reality. It shapes your posture, your energy, your decisions, your habits, your relationships, your career, everything. And here's the key. You have the power to choose what that voice says. You have the power to choose the language you use internally. You have the power to choose whether your inner voice is a leader that lifts you up or a critic that tears you down. You have the power to choose whether you're going to be limited by your own thoughts or liberated by your own declarations. So today, I want you to commit to becoming the leader of your inner voice. I want you to decide that you will not allow negative self-talk to run your life. I want you to decide that you will speak blessings daily, not as a temporary fix, but as a new way of living. Speak blessings that remind you of your worth. Speak blessings that remind you of your power. Speak blessings that remind you of your potential. Speak blessings that remind you that you are not defined by your past, you are defined by your decisions. Speak blessings that remind you that you are becoming. Speak blessings that remind you that you are worthy of everything you desire. Because when your inner voice becomes your leader, you become unstoppable. Let's talk about fear for a moment, because fear is one of the biggest forces that holds people back. Fear is the silent killer of dreams. Fear is the thing that keeps you stuck in a job you hate. Fear is the thing that keeps you in relationships that don't serve you. Fear is the thing that keeps you from taking the step you know you're meant to take. And the reason fear is so powerful is because it lives in your head. It lives in your thoughts. It lives in your language. It lives in your inner voice. Fear isn't something that exists out there. Fear is something you create inside of yourself when you focus on what could go wrong, when you focus on what you don't have, when you focus on your doubts instead of your possibilities. Now, I want you to understand something very important. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is a signal. Fear is an indicator that you're about to grow. Fear is a sign that you're stepping outside your comfort zone. Fear is a sign that you're about to expand. Fear is not a reason to stop. Fear is a reason to step forward with intention. But here's the problem. Most people respond to fear the wrong way. Most people interpret fear as a warning to back away. Most people hear fear and they think, okay, I'm not ready. I'm not capable. I should wait. And so they wait and they wait and they wait, and the years go by and their life stays the same and their dreams are but inane dreams, because they listen to fear instead of using fear as fuel. And that's why speaking blessings daily is so powerful, because blessings don't ignore fear. Blessings don't pretend fear doesn't exist. Blessings acknowledge fear and transform it. Blessings don't say you're not afraid. Blessings say you are brave enough to move forward anyway. Blessings say you are stronger than your fear. Blessings say you are capable of more than you think. Blessings say you are guided, protected, and supported. When you speak blessings, you are not denying reality. You are shifting your reality. You are changing the story you tell yourself about what's possible. You are turning fear into fuel. You are turning doubt into determination. You are turning uncertainty into courage. Because here's the truth, you cannot eliminate fear. You cannot eliminate uncertainty. You cannot eliminate risk. Those things are part of being alive. Those things are part of being human. But you can change how you respond to them. You can change the meaning you give them. You can change the story you tell yourself about them. And that is what blessings do. Blessings give fear a new meaning. Blessings give uncertainty a new purpose. Blessings give risk a new direction. When you speak blessings, you're saying, I'm not afraid of the unknown. I'm not afraid of what I can't control. I'm not afraid of the challenge. I'm not afraid of the process. I am afraid of one thing only, staying the same, because you know what's scarier than fear? Regret. Regret is the real enemy. Regret is what happens when you look back and realize you didn't live your life fully. Regret is what happens when you realize you played small because you were afraid. Regret is what happens when you realize you spent your life waiting for permission to be great. And that's why you must speak blessings daily, because blessings remind you of what you're capable of. Blessings remind you that you are here for a reason. Blessings remind you that your life is not a rehearsal. This is it. This is the moment. This is your time. Now, I want you to think about the way you talk to yourself when you feel fear. What do you say? Do you say, I can't do this? Do you say, this is too hard? Do you say, I'm not ready? Do you say, what if I fail? And then, because you're human, your body responds, your heart rate increases, your breathing changes, your muscles tighten, your mind goes into survival mode. And in that moment, your inner voice becomes your worst enemy. It becomes the voice that keeps you small. But what if you spoke a blessing instead? What if you said, I am brave? What if you said, I am capable? What if you said, I am guided? What if you said, I am growing? What if you said, I am stronger than my fear? That changes everything, because your body responds to your words. Your nervous system responds to your language. Your emotions respond to your declarations. And when you speak blessings, your brain begins to create a new neural pathway, a pathway that connects fear to courage, a pathway that connects uncertainty to confidence, a pathway that connects risk to growth. And once that pathway is created, you begin to respond differently. You begin to act differently. You begin to move forward, even when you're scared. You begin to take the steps you know you're meant to take. You begin to show up in your life in a new way. And that's when your life starts to change. But here's something you need to undo. Our stand, blessings don't remove the challenge. Blessings don't remove the struggle. Blessings don't remove the hard work. Blessings don't remove the obstacles. Blessings do something even more powerful. They change you. They change your identity. They change your mindset. They change your energy. And when you change, your circumstances begin to change too. Because the world responds to who you are, not to what you want. The world responds to your identity. The world responds to your state. The world responds to your energy. And when your energy is anchored in blessings, when your identity is rooted in courage, when your mind is aligned with possibility, you become unstoppable. You become a force of nature. You become a person who does not wait for the fear to disappear. You become a person who moves through fear with purpose, with clarity, with power. So today, I want you to make a decision that will change your life, a decision to speak blessings daily, especially when you feel fear. Speak blessings when you feel doubt. Speak blessings when you feel uncertainty. Speak blessings when you feel overwhelmed. Speak blessings when you feel small. Speak blessings when you feel like you can't, because those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments that determine your future. Those are the moments where you either let fear control you or you let blessings empower you. And when you choose blessings, you are choosing growth. You are choosing courage. You are choosing your highest self. You are choosing the life you were meant to live. Now go out there and speak your blessings and watch your life transform. Now I want you to hear something that is going to change the way you think about your life. You have been living your life like you are waiting for something to happen to you. You're waiting for the right moment. You're waiting for the right opportunity. You're waiting for the right person. You're waiting for the right feeling. You're waiting for the right sign. And because you're waiting, you're living in a state of someday. Someday I'll be confident. Someday I'll be successful. Someday I'll be happy. Someday I'll feel worthy. Someday I'll be the person I want to be. And the problem is, someday never comes. Someday is a trap. Someday is a lie. Someday is the excuse that keeps you from becoming who you were meant to become. Because here's the truth. You don't become the person you want to be by waiting. You become the person you want to be by speaking and acting like that person right now. You become that person by choosing your identity and living it out. You don't wait for confidence to appear. You speak confidence into your life. You don't wait for success to show up. You speak success into your life. You don't wait for worthiness to arrive. You speak worthiness into your life. You don't wait for your life to change. You speak your life into change. And that is what speaking daily blessings does. When you speak blessing, NGS, you are not just saying words, you are choosing your identity. You are declaring, this is who I am. You are declaring, this is who I'm becoming. And you are doing it with the power of your voice, with the power of your intention, with the power of your belief. Because your voice is a tool of creation. Your voice is a tool of transformation. Your voice is a tool of destiny. And when you speak blessings, you are using that tool to shape your future. Think about it. If you keep telling yourself you're not enough, you will become a person who believes they're not enough. If you keep telling yourself you're unlucky, you will become a person who believes they're unlucky. If you keep telling yourself you're not smart enough, you will become a person who believes they're not smart enough. And your life will follow. Your results will follow. Your opportunities will follow. Your relationships will follow. Everything will follow the story you tell yourself. But if you start speaking blessings, you begin to change the story. You begin to change the narrative. You begin to change the identity that your brain's been carrying. And when our identity changes, your actions change, your habits change, your decisions change, your life changes. Because you are not just speaking blessings, you are becoming them. You are stepping into the version of you that already exists in your future, and you are bringing that version into your present. Now, I want you to understand something very important. This isn't about pretending. This isn't about lying to yourself. This isn't about putting on a mask. This is about aligning your inner world with your outer world. This is about becoming congruent. Because when you speak blessings, you are not trying to convince yourself of something that isn't true. You are reminding yourself of what is true. You are reminding yourself of your potential. You are reminding yourself of your purpose. You are reminding yourself of your power. You are reminding yourself that you are capable of becoming the person you desire to be. And here's the key. Your identity is not something you find. Your identity is something you create. Your identity is something you build. Your identity is something you choose. And you choose it with your words. You choose it with your beliefs. You choose it with your actions. You choose it with your daily habits. And speaking daily blessings is one of the most powerful habits you can build because it directly influences your identity. When you speak blessings, you begin to speak a new version of yourself into existence. You begin to speak a higher standard for your life. You begin to speak a new level of expectation. You begin to speak a new level of possibility. You begin to speak a new level of courage. You begin to speak a new level of faith. And your mind responds, your body responds, your heart responds, your energy responds, and the world responds because here's the truth. The world doesn't respond to your excuses. The world doesn't respond to your fears. The world doesn't respond to your doubts. The world responds to your identity. The world NDS to the energy you bring. The world responds to the person you are becoming. And if you want to change your life, you have to change who you are becoming. And you do that by speaking blessings daily. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I don't feel like that person yet. And that's exactly why you need to speak blessings. Because you don't become that person by waiting to feel like them. You become that person by choosing to act like them until your feelings catch up. You become that person by speaking like them until your beliefs catch up. You become that person by living like them until your reality catches up. This is how champions are made. This is how leaders are built. This is how extraordinary lives are created. Not by waiting for the perfect moment, not by waiting for the perfect feeling, not by waiting for the perfect conditions, but by speaking and acting like the person you want to be every single day until you become that person. That's how transformation ends. That's how destiny happens. That's how miracles happen. And the most powerful part is this. When you speak blessings daily, you don't just become a better version of yourself. You become a different person entirely. You become someone who doesn't need external validation. You become someone who doesn't need permission. You become someone who doesn't need to be told you're worthy because you already know. You become someone who doesn't fear failure because you know failure is just feedback. You become someone who doesn't shrink back from challenges because you know challenges are growth. You become someone who doesn't settle for less because you know your potential is unlimited. So today, I want you to make a commitment to speak blessings daily, not just as a practice, but as a way of life. Speak blessings that remind you of your identity. Speak blessings that remind you of your purpose. Speak blessings that remind you of your worth. Speak blessings that remind you of your power. Speak blessings that remind you that you are not a victim of your past. You are the architect of your future. Speak blessings that remind you that you are becoming. Speak blessings that remind you that you are worthy of everything you desire. Because when you speak blessings, you don't just say words, you become the words. Now, here's the part where most people fail. They start strong. They feel motivated. They feel inspired. They feel like they've been hit by a lightning bolt of clarity. They feel like they're ready to change everything. And then a few days later, they stop. Or a week later, they stop. Or a month later, they stop. And they go back to the same old patterns, the same old thoughts, the same old habits, the same old life. Because they misunderstood what change really requires. Change is not a moment. Change is a process. Change is not a one-time event. Change is a series of consistent actions repeated over time. And that is the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. It's not that achievers are more talented or luckier. It's that they're consistent. They do the small things every day. They do the things that others aren't willing to do consistently. They show up when it's hard. They show up when it's inconvenient. They show up when they don't feel like it. And that's why they win, because consistency builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds results. Results build identity. And identity builds destiny. Now, when it comes to speaking blessings daily, consistency is everything, because blessings are not a one-time magic spell. Blessings are a daily ritual. Blessings are a habit. Blessings are a practice. And like any practice, the power comes from repetition. The power comes from doing it over and over again until it becomes part of who you are. You don't speak blessings once and then suddenly your life transforms. You speak blessings daily, and over time your life transforms. You speak blessings daily, and over time your mindset changes. You speak blessings daily, and over time your identity changes. You speak blessings daily, and over time your energy changes. And once your energy changes, your life changes. Think about it like this. If you want to build muscle, you don't work out once and expect to be ripped. If you want to build a successful business, you don't do one day of work and expect to be wealthy. If you want to become confident, you don't speak one affirmation and expect to be fearless. It's the repetition that creates the change. It's the daily discipline that creates the results. It's the consistent actions that build the future. And speaking blessings is no different. You must commit to it daily, not occasionally, not when you feel like it, not when you're in the mood. Daily. Because the moment you make blessings a daily habit, you begin to create a new default setting for your life. Your default setting shifts from doubt to faith, from scarcity to abundance, from fear to courage, from limitation to possibility. And once your default setting shifts, everything in your life shifts, because your brain begins to operate from a new baseline. Your mind begins to expect blessings. Your heart begins to feel blessings. Your body begins to respond to blessings, and your life begins to align with blessings. And here's the thing, consistency is not glamorous. Consistency is not exciting. Consistency is not flashy. Consistency is boring. But boring is where the magic happens. Boring is where the transformation happens, because consistent actions create compound effects. Every day you speak blessings, you are making a deposit into your future. Every day you speak blessings, you are building a stronger version of yourself. Every day you speak blessings, you are reinforcing the identity you want to live in. And over time, those daily deposits compound into massive change. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but what if I miss a day? And the answer is simple. Don't beat yourself up. Life happens. You're human. You will miss days. The point is not perfection. The point is persistence. The point is getting back on track. The point is showing up again. Because the people who win are not the people who never fail. The people who win are the people who keep going. The people who win are the people who get up after they fall. The people who win are the people who keep speaking blessings even when they don't feel like it. And that is the power of consistency. It builds resilience. It builds discipline. It builds character. It builds strength. Because when you commit to speaking blessings daily, you are training yourself to follow through. You are training yourself to keep your promises to yourself. And that is one of the most powerful acts of self-love you can ever do. Because when you keep your promises to yourself, your self-respect grows. And when your self-respect grows, your confidence grows. And when your confidence grows, your life grows. Consistency also creates clarity. When you speak blessings daily, you begin to notice patterns. You begin to notice shifts. You begin to notice how your language affects your mood, your decisions, your actions, your relationships, your opportunities. You begin to see the direct connection between your words and your results. And that clarity gives you power. It gives you control. It gives you the ability to steer your life in the direction you want. Because you're no longer living in reaction. You're living in intention. You're no longer being controlled by your environment. You're controlling your environment through your inner state. And here's the beautiful part, Kansi. Scarcity creates momentum. Momentum is the force that keeps you moving even when motivation fades. Motivation is temporary. Motivation is emotional. Motivation comes and goes. But momentum is built through consistent action. Momentum is built through daily discipline. Momentum is built through repetition. And once momentum builds, it becomes unstoppable. It becomes a force of nature. It becomes a cycle of progress. The more you speak blessings, the more your energy lifts. The more your energy lifts, the more your actions improve. The more your actions improve, the more results you get. The more results you get, the more your belief grows. And the more your belief grows, the more you speak blessings. And the cycle continues. So today, I want you to make a commitment to consistency, a commitment to speak blessings daily, not just when it feels good, but especially when it doesn't. Because that's when your growth happens. That's when your character is built. That's when your destiny is shaped. Because the difference between who you are and who you want to be is not talent. It's not luck. It's not opportunity. It's consistency. It's the daily actions you take, the daily habits you build, the daily language you speak. And speaking blessings daily is one of the most powerful habits you can build because it directly affects your mindset, your identity, your energy, and your life. So commit to it. Speak blessings daily. Make it a ritual. Make it a habit. Make it your lifestyle. And watch as your life transforms, not overnight, but over time through the power of consistency. Because consistency is the bridge between your dreams and your reality.